morning, Unity of Birmingham.
Good morning.
So the announcements, mark your calendars for a wonderful workshop immediately after service on August 3rd. It's from 12 to 1 with Dr. Kayla Cordela, excuse me if I messed that up, from the Precision Chiropractor. Dr. Kayla will present a workshop exploring health and sustainability. The next one is one of our community members, Katie Marietta Tondon, has launched an amazing spiritual virtual space and community that she will demo on Sunday, August 17th at 12 p.m. immediately after service. Reverend Jesse, the third one. Reverend Jesse received an education policy fellowship, and in the middle of September, he and other fellows will be in Washington, D.C. working with education policy leaders September 16th to the 18th. Yeah.
Thank you, Jody. Say this with me. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It takes all of us in order to carry out this collective vision known as Unity of Birmingham. So I do appreciate all of the efforts that all of us put in. Put your hands together for yourself real quick. A unified team in order to provide a service and an opportunity and a safe space for us all to learn and grow. And so in that spirit, I invite you to find your place of power, as they used to say in the old days, as we spend a little time in affirmative prayer. In this sacred space, we declare that the presence of good is already here, and that this service in our life is in divine order. We allow progress and unity and success and divine order not just to rest in our minds, but we open our heart and we allow the God that is within to carry it forth without. We know that we are called for such a time as this, so we remove every stumbling block out of the way to allow the presence of life and divine mind to go forth in power and in insight, speaking to all of us and giving us exactly what we need, courage and strength to live another day, but to be forces for good as we experience those days. We speak blessings on those that are on the way here and those that are tuning in online. And we affirm that the Monday and Saturday that is yet to come is already equipped with who we need to be. And so it is. Amen. Amen.
answer when wished on the morning star. Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection.
Wow. Not at all what I thought was going to happen this morning, but what was the earlier song you were playing?
The glory of love.
The glory of love.
I'm sorry, what?
The glory of love.
I don't know about y'all, but I got so high listening to it. Can you all do it again?
Yeah, we're gonna do it later.
I'm sorry?
You mean the boogie version?
Yeah. I want to there's so much joy in that music, and I want us to just attune to that joy.
All right.
Like I said, it wasn't what I was thinking or feeling earlier, but Just we come here to get uplifted, right? And to get out of our normal humdrum lives, or whatever we might want to call it. Just allow that music just to, don't be shy about moving. Feel it in your bodies. Feel it in your hearts.
You gotta do a little. Take a little and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of love. That's the story of love. You gotta laugh a little. Cry a little. Before the clouds roll by a little. That's the story of love. As long as there are two of us, we've got the whole world and all its dreams. And when the world is throwing us, we've got each other's arms. Wave a little, lose a little, and always have the blues a little. That's the story of love. That's the story of love.
So just hold that in your hearts and allow yourself to sigh, and then just go, ah. Peace be with you.
Thank you. In that same spirit, if you will, just settle back in with me, just in the pace and space of the music and the energy that's been created so far. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, the piano. Right there. Call to mind all that you would have, all that you would wish to create, all that you would wish to see manifested in your life and in your world. Bring it to mind. In the words of C. Allen Anderson, you are exactly where God was when God became you. Charles Fillmore says that prayer is the highest form of mind activity. So in this space, we take a moment just to turn within all that God is, you are. And if that God is inside, then we take a moment to release it and let it go. To move outside and begin the actions and activities of guiding us and giving us the right words to speak, the right thoughts, drawing forth the right people that would help us to bring this vision to pass. For it is with vision that we sustain ourselves, and without a vision we know that we perish. And collectively we see as one people our worlds becoming whole. We see people rejoicing and people laughing. We see families coming together. We see healing being manifested in our lives and minds and bodies. Affirm that with me today. Feel it in your mind. Feel it coming into your consciousness. Empowering your mind and your body with the proper steps to carry it out and carry it forth. And when you're ready, come back to the room. Take a deep breath into the nose. Release one more time. Just relax your mind and your body into something good, and so it is, and so it is. If you will, rub your hands together. Let's send this healing energy to those that are watching online. Point your hands in the direction of the camera. Say this with me: divine love in us blesses and multiplies all that you hear and all that you receive. Know in this moment you are safe and loved, and so it is. Our ministry is supported by partners like you. Remember to log on to unitybham.org and click on giving. Our moderators are always on standby, no matter when you see this message or where you see it. So if it's on Facebook, YouTube, or our website, there's a comment section that's available to you. Post your comment in that section and we'll dialogue with you and hold you and your family in affirmative prayer. And if you are in need of prayer, we do have our prayer chaplains spread around the room. Put your hands together for our prayer chaplains. Prayer chaplains that are home virtually, Miss Sharon, all of you, we see you, Miss Evelyn, Miss Joan, Miss Karima, all of you, we love you and we hold you all in the light. Can you say amen to that?
Amen.
Good morning, everybody. And happy summer. Can't you tell it's summertime? Yeah, because everybody's on vacation and stuff. Yeah, there's a heat wave that's coming to Alabama, so make sure you govern yourself accordingly. And I think it's supposed to hit on this week. So grab your water bottles, stay hydrated, don't stay thirsty, my friends. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. And summertime is beautiful because it's a time when the world does come alive. And the opposite of winter, what history calls the Jason months, if you know your mythology, the July, August, September, October, November, the hero Jason in mythology. July is a very particular month because it's a time when the world sort of comes together. We all feel the same thing: serotonin rising, dopamine rising, oxytocin rising. So that hermit sort of takes a back seat, and who we need to be sort of comes forward, and we come out of ourselves. And it's a beautiful time of the year. So whether you know it or not, even if you don't consider yourself to be a religious person, the world sort of gets us into a rhythm. And the summer months are sort of a rhythm that are inclusive, yes, but it's a rhythm of teamwork. It's a rhythm of coming together and being around people and socializing, regardless of how you do it, because I do want to make space for my introverted brothers and sisters and peoples too. But introverts socialize too, we just do it a little differently, that's all. So whether you see this message either in person or online, I'm speaking to the introvert that is within your heart and mind. But say this with me: we do it better when we do it together. And it does take all of us in order to accomplish the vision of an awakened humanity. Now, I want you to sit with that for a minute. An awakened humanity. Just to allow it to kind of settle and sizzle in your spirit, to quote Charles Fillmore. What does it mean to see and participate in an awakened humanity? And what that means is all of us have an individual responsibility to be who God calls us to be. I was watching television yesterday, one of my favorite shows, Star Trek, and there was an episode where they were initially encountering the Q, who were these godlike beings. And Q, every scene came in a different costume, and Picard looked over at him. He said, "Q, what's the matter with you with all these costumes? Don't you have your own identity?" And it hit me. I was like, oh man, that's so true. That our call and our task is to become who God has called us to be. So no matter what we see that occurs in society will tell you who to be, how to think, how to vote, how to behave, how to act, how to dress. Don't wear white after when? Labor Day, right? But the true question is, in order to participate in what we call a collective consciousness of awakening humanity, which means that we all wake up to who we have been called to be, we have to first wake up on an individual level. So this hour and a half that you devote to your lives of coming together and being in community is a beautiful thing, because we get to carry out the practice of envisioning that together. So coming out of your houses and coming out of your bedrooms and sitting in community is a powerful, sacred act. And it reimagines what it means to wake up. Because again, you're not just doing it on an individual level. Yes, that work is necessary, but you're doing it together. You know, for all of the times in your life where people might have let you down, think about those. And all the times where people might not have lived up to your expectations, which is a sermon for another day, right? You made a choice to participate in a collective community just for an hour and a half, where you are deciding, whether you believe it or not, to give humanity another chance, to hear something different, to do what Jesus told his disciples and turn the other cheek. Now, turning the other cheek may seem like a passive act. You know why? I'm glad you asked. Because our nervous system sometimes can be hardwired for revenge. You hit me, I'm going to do what? Hit you back. You talk about me, I'm going to do what? Talk about you. Don't say nothing about my mama. I'll say things about my mama because that's my mama. And I'm sure she says things about me too, right? But coming together in community, again, it teaches you something different. Not so much intellectually. Sometimes, yes. But it allows your nervous system, which is ancient, because our programming is so ancient. That's why certain habits are hard to break. Right? Who's ever tried to lose weight before? You lose 5 pounds and gain 10 back. It's like, all I had was a sandwich, 25,000 calories. I only eat once a day, but I snack every time in between. And that's not to size shame anybody, but to show you that we're all here together. We're all in the same boat. Say this with me, we're all in the same boat. So coming together, looking for something new, allowing your body to sit in a safe container, in a safe space, it gives your nervous system the chance to learn again. To learn that, hey, there can be safety in communities. Or to learn again that, you know what, people aren't so bad. You know, that the world isn't all fighting. You know, there are some people that are solution focused. Because after all, that's what we came here to do, right? We came here to give. You don't need any more God than you already have. Let me say that again. That's heretical, especially in a church. You don't need any more God than all you already have. Your job is to let that out. You don't need any more love infused in you than you already have. You just need to find practices that allows you to let the love and awareness that you already are come out. That's what I'm inviting you into a chance to allow that what we call the higher self, but it's just a self. It's not a higher self, it's not a lower self, because there are no levels in self. Self is just self. We feel ourselves to be an individual person, but science will tell us you are a stream of consciousness. You're a collection of ideas and thoughts and feelings and chemicals, and your brain is a big pile of hamburger soup that sits in darkness, but you see in living color. You're magical, whether you believe it or not. And if you give yourself the space and the time to sort of sit and wonder, you can't help but be appreciative. Whatever God of your understanding that you know of that's in your heart, you can't help but be thankful, because it is by magic that you are here. So my invitation is that you use the life force that you have to do something. You allow not just this time together, this message, or the word of an African-American minister, 38 years old in a suit jacket. It's not about me. You allow this information, this space, this time to empower you so that you can rise to meet those moments in your life that count. What are those moments? Those moments are the times where you feel like your nervous system is the opposite of everything you've been taught. When your nervous system goes haywire, when fight and flight and fawn kicks in. If you remember our talks about fawning is the newer term they've added to the psychological gobbledygook, where they say when you're around dominant creatures in the animal kingdom, you tend to freeze and fawn and play dead as opposed to fighting back. I'm inviting you into the possibility of recognizing that love is a courageous act, and when you're asked to be angry and come out of your face and say something ugly, I'm asking you to find the loving thing to do, even if the loving thing to do is to leave it alone. If you learn to separate stimulus and response, good can come out of us as people. We can say things that unite us as opposed to divide us. We can do things that are altruistic and not just individualistic, where the tyranny of the majority, and to quote my old political science professor, isn't at the expense of the minority, but we figure out a way to create a world that works for all. And sometimes that doesn't happen just through one person speaking. It happens when all of us participate in this collective idea school, this think tank that we have on Sunday mornings, or in laboratories called K through 12 around the world, wherever you find yourself, or dinner tables, right? Those conversations. It asks us to dig deep and then to give of ourselves and give our opinion. And then to look around our tables and see spaces and places where other people aren't represented, and then add another seat to the table so that they can speak too. And together, collectively, we can, man, what was that? We can stir that pot up. Too many big words this morning. We can stir that pot up, right? And then spread it as far and wide as we can in order to encourage us all. That's how we make the world a better place. If you will put your hands together for that, just for that moment. And those that are watching online, you're invited to participate in that too, which is why our theme this month has been spiritual understanding. Say this with me, spiritual understanding. And if you haven't had a chance to witness some of the experiences and the conversations, go back to our YouTube channel and check them out. Today's talk title is Building a Coalition. Say this with me, Building a Coalition. And I'm already in the message, but just to reiterate, it does take all of us. And to be very frank and to be very human, sometimes we don't look like what we are. Meaning you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't look at another person and determine their capacity to love you until you've seen their actions, until you've seen what's inside of them. So you can't judge based on appearances. So the team, the individuals, the people that life is sending to you, most of the time, they're already in your world, waiting to be activated, waiting on your yes. Because the vision that you have in your heart, the thing that you know you were sent here in order to do, you cannot get it done by yourself. Let me say it again, and to those that are watching online, and for the people in the back, the thing that you were sent here to do, the thing that is in your heart, you cannot do it by yourself. In fact, the smart thing to do is to dig deep and see where your skills and talents are, and then to duplicate yourself so that you don't have to do it by yourself. You know, one of the complaints that Jesus had in the New Testament scripture says that foxes have holes, dens have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Didn't mean he didn't have a bed. He had 12 people he could go stay with, and plenty more. There were the 70. Lots of homes, lots of hotels, lots of places. He was born in a barn. He could find places to sleep. He could go back to the hospital he was born. No. That quote, that phrase, that affirmation meant that he had trouble finding individuals or accepting individuals who could accept and embrace the teaching, where he could lay his mind, lay his thoughts, or lay his ideas. And it wasn't until he was taken off the scene that we saw the disciples grow up. And in the book of Acts, it's recorded that they turned the city upside down. Which is another point, that sometimes that coalition that we are building, once we've established our team, we have to take a step back and let them lead. Many times the visions and the things that we're trying to do, not just in our city, in our town, but sometimes in our family, we can't see it done because we're the only one looking. We're blocking the view. It's like sitting in a movie theater and you're the tallest one there. The people behind you can't see. So sometimes you have to duck down, move out of the way. Let them lead. Let them take the mic. Don't give the answer. Let them figure it out. Let them express all that God has given them. And you might find that not only will your vision succeed, but it will exceed your wildest dreams. Say this with me. Building a coalition. First thing you got to do again is ask spirit. Ask God, ask divine love to open your mind to the team that's around you. Open your mind to the people that are around you to support the collective idea, the vision that you have in your heart. And then step back once those people start to appear and let them help you. In the words of that famous spiritual book, How to Let God Help You, Myrtle Fillmore. My friends, I would like to come in today and have a talk with you. Let's put away all childish thinking that makes us think that God is not all in all. Myrtle Fillmore, like a good grandmother in that book. Wonderful, wonderful pamphlet. But we have to put those things aside that prevent us from seeing the truth. Last week we talked about knowing the truth. And the truth is there are many trees in the garden of your world. There are many trees in the Garden of Eden. Those trees are truths, and all of the trees and truths are good for food. In other words, the truth that's in your heart is good. The truth that's in your heart is good. And yours, and yours, and yours, and yours. So it's important for me as a good gardener to recognize that I too am planted in the same garden. I'm not just objectively working the garden from the outside, but I too am a plant. Or in the words of my famous teacher, Sharon Salzberg, she says, when you get mad at the traffic, remember that you too are the traffic. So get mad at yourself. I'm not telling you this is the time to beat up on yourself, but to recognize that you're not just leading a team if you are a leader, but you too are a part of the team. Pick up a broom, leaders. Do what you can. And I know it's funny. We just had an experience this morning. I'm like, oh my God, what in the world? But it's amazing what you find yourself doing. You do the work that needs to be done. Always let people find you about your father or your mother's business. I had an old minister tell me a long time ago, if you ever have to do any sort of counseling, pick up a broom while you're counseling and start sweeping. You'll find that your counseling sessions get shorter and shorter and shorter, or either they'll pick up a broom too and start cleaning. Because that team participation, that building of the coalition, it empowers people to show people that it's not about an individual, it's about a collective. So charismatic leadership is moving sort of out of the way. And we can see it if we look across the span of time over the last 60 years. And what's emerging is leadership from within the people. Grassroots movements, not just in our society and in our city, but also in our family. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions, and your young daughters will see visions. The prophecies that's in sort of the Old Testament. And what all that means is other people are really stepping up to the plate. Those who don't necessarily look like the part, but the passion is there, the zeal is there, the know-how is there. They're just waiting on a chance to be activated. Say this with me. I call forth my team, and I'm going to let them help me. It's a true story. To ground this message in spiritual text, I want to point your attention to a story. The book of Nehemiah. It's a 5th century book, and not to be long, but it's a powerful story. And what I'm going to do today, while I have your attention, is pull sort of the militarism out of it and focus on some key parts. Xerxes, or Artaxerxes, was a Persian king, very similar to Cyrus, who gave a group of people permission to go back and sort of rebuild the structures of their lives and rebuild their walls. And, just to kind of pause here, that piece alone is sort of a reminder for us that there's always work to do. For the parts of us that have died, for the visions that we had in our heart that are dying, for the things in our lives that aren't working well, that life has already given you permission to rebuild. Everything that falls sometimes, and everything that crumbles, every vision that does not happen, believe it or not, the pieces of it that fell, they become the seeds for a new future that's trying to rise. So sometimes those of us that have visions in our hearts have to give way for the vision that's trying to come forward instead of trying to remake the one that has died. Your new relationship won't look like your old relationship. Your friendship with her might not look like your friendship with him, but it doesn't mean that that friendship isn't beautiful as it is. And so Nehemiah had to learn that lesson. Nehemiah, again, this is the 5th century. Artaxerxes gave him permission to go and sort of support the efforts and lead the efforts to rebuild the wall in Jerusalem. 13 years before he got there, someone else had been there, an individual by the name of Ezra. In fact, say that name with me, Ezra. Ezra is an important figure in the role of rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. Jerusalem means peace, and we identify that with the heart. Nehemiah and Ezra together did some amazing work, but Ezra's role was powerful because Ezra represents the teacher. And it's the transition, if you study sacred scripture, of leadership from being king and monarch driven and priest and prophet driven to being about teaching, that the new model of leadership will be based on education. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Education doesn't necessarily mean sitting in a classroom. Believe it or not, life itself is your classroom. If you're open and committed to learning, being a lifelong learner, then again, the vision that God has in your heart for you, for your family, for your business, for your community, for your city, for your state, it all can come to pass if you're open to learning. In fact, sacred text says to study to show yourselves approved unto God, workswomen that need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the words of truth. So if you're open to learning, the key is openness, then the thing that God has called you to do, by whichever name you refer to God, Spirit, the universe, divine love, divine mind, it will come to pass if you're open to it. So Ezra being the teacher, Nehemiah being the builder, Nehemiah steps into Jerusalem, and before he does anything, of course, he prays. And prayer is a beautiful practice, because what prayer does is it allows you to sort of tune into that which is real, tune into that which is true, because you recognize that being surrounded by facts in the world and gross things, not necessarily nasty, but things that are material, just move in slow motion, it can trip you up when you're trying to bring things to pass. So you need, according to our theme, spiritual understanding. You're trying to make things happen, but physically it doesn't look like they will happen. Anybody ever been there? You're trying to solve problems in a relationship, and it looks like the argument and confrontation is only getting worse and things are not getting better. You need something to happen within you that will make you to keep coming back to the table, because if they say, she say, he say one more thing, I ain't coming back. In the words of that old movie, call your mom. I ain't never coming home. Love television. Lost my train of thought, sorry. So education becomes the new pathway for leadership, being open to learning and being open to growth. Miriam, one of the establishmentarians, along with many others on adult learning and development, says that learning doesn't just occur in a silo. This is why I've been talking for the last couple of weeks about social constructivist learning. That as adults, we have different needs than children. One of our biggest needs is to learn and grow and make meaning out of the things we have. Why? Because we're trying to all improve the quality of our life. So we do what we can as individuals and learn what we can through direct downloads and the stuff that we're exposed to. And we interpret the things that happen in our life, and then we come together in community and see what other people are doing, and we socialize learning. We socialize information. This is what I did. Tell me what you did. Has this worked for you? This worked for me. That didn't work for you? No, it didn't work for me either, until at some point an idea hits and it clicks. And it's like, oh, but that clicking doesn't happen until we're willing to sometimes step out of ourselves, come out of our homes, find communities both in person and online, or sometimes, like I do, go to the grocery store. Just go be around people for a second. That's why I love Buc-ee's. It's just you're swimming in an ocean of people. Introverts are like, oh my God, no. But you learn so much. Your nervous system absorbs so much just by being around people, and then you get inspired. And to bring it home, whatever the thing is that inspires and speaks to you, that helps you to learn and grow, go and do that consistently. And when your mind and when your heart opens, remember what I said, you don't need any more love. You don't need any more God. You don't need any more wisdom. You just need for the love, God, wisdom, however you define it, that is in you to come out, and that thing is attractive. Your team will show up almost overnight. You just need to have the eyes to see them. They won't all be tall. They won't all have muscles. They won't all look like television people, because television people don't look like television people. We're all made up. But one thing they will have in common is they will be people. And AI. AI will be there too. But to get to my point, the point of that scripture centers around chapter 4, right around the 17th verse. Nehemiah had been organizing and building the wall, and people have been taunting him because there's always naysayers. Oh, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna work out. You ain't gonna find nobody new. Y'all ain't gonna get back together. You're gonna be single forever. You're gonna be married forever. Or whatever it is that they say, because they say a lot, right? Nehemiah encourages the people. Ezra teaches the people, gives them their practices, creates a shared culture. And then Nehemiah, in chapter 4, does something. He organizes them in such a way, instead of them all doing the same thing at the same time, he says, half of you watch, half of you work. And when you're done working, you take watch, and so on and so forth. Because the key to leadership is empowering people, but it's not just empowering people, but it's right butts and right seats. Meaning that if this position doesn't work for you, switch to something else. And the same thing goes for us. If this doesn't work for you, switch. You don't like washing the dishes, cook. You don't want to cook, wash the dishes. You like inside of the house, I like outside of the house. Outside is too hot for me right now, you take outside of the house. Partner with the things that are in your life. Don't just give them something to do. Don't just affirm them. Don't just recognize them. Don't just honor your team, support your coalition, but work with them for real. And you'll see, like Nehemiah and Ezra, that the walls of Jerusalem will go up. And it sounds like emotional blockage. But what those walls represent for the people of that story is hope and possibility. That the things in our life that are broken down, that they can be rebuilt. And when they crumble and fall, they serve their purpose. They can be rebuilt again. And that's the work. The work is to give. The work is to serve. Yes, the work is to lead, but the work is to give and to serve, because again, the greatest thing that you can do on this planet is love each other, love someone, but serve and help. And when you do that, you participate in the collective good that I've been talking about, where you collectively, as a human family, help make the world a better place. Take a deep breath. Let this information rest, rule, and abide in your mind and in your heart. Know, dear ones, that what you have been looking for is already looking through you. The people and places and things you need to carry out the things that are in your heart are already surrounding you. And if they are not there, they are on the way. So be encouraged. Thank you for listening. Peace and blessings. Our offering, for those of you that watch online, remember to log on to unitybham.org and click on giving, or text that wonderful number that's about to appear on your screen. For those that are in-house, our ushers are making their way forward to collect the offering, while Madonna gives us a special selection. Take it away.
So we're going to do the glory of love again, but this is going to be Bette Midler's version.
Because I was supposed to play violin and I'm not. So okay. This is random.
You've got to give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story, that's the glory of love. laughing, crying, before the clouds roll by. That's the story, that's the glory of love. As long as there's the two of us, we've got the world and all its charms. And when the world is through with us, we've got each other's arms. You've got to win a little, cry a little, and always have a lose a little. That's the story, that's the glory of love. That's the story, that's the glory of love.
Awesome. In that same spirit, let's bless the offering. Put your hands in this direction. Say this with me. We bless this offering. Affirming it will be used for the building of this ministry. We bless the givers. We declare their gifts will return back to them with good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Put your hands together one more time. Please stand for the peace offering.
surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
wherever we are, God is.
Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
That's it.